Morning everyone, welcome back to the homestead today. I am in my rabbitry. My rabbit waterers were low, so I was bringing water out to my bunnies and getting everybody fed and taken care of for the day, and I figured I would just bring you guys along. And while I was at it, everybody's playing. I would talk to you guys a little bit about the new watering system that we set up last year and how it's been doing for us. It really went through a ringer this last, I think 2 weeks ago now, where we had that really big freeze. We were down in the negative 20s and 30s here in Pennsylvania with the wind chill. So it was really cold, and all of our systems really got a nice test during that cold spell. So yeah, I figured this would be a really great time to just kind of give you guys an update on how this new watering system has been working for us. So the first watering system that we had for the rabbits was a complete flop during the winter months. It worked great for the summer and the warmer months, but for the winter months it did not work, and so we came up with this new watering system with the hopes that it would work much better through the winter months and allow for ease of watering for all of these bunnies of mine. I'll link the original watering system here, and then right after it I'll link the new watering system so you can compare the two. But the new watering system, the old watering system was made out of just some water tubing with some watering nipples, and like I said, it worked really well. But come winter, everything froze up, and I had to resort to water bowls, which worked great, but I had to be out here 2 and 3 times a day, breaking up the ice and filling up their water bowls again. So it was just really a time-consuming method. It worked, but it was time-consuming. And the new watering system that we made went a little bit more robust, which I'm really glad that we did. We ended up using some, I think it was 1-inch PVC piping with the watering nipples directly into the piping, along with water pumps and water heaters in their watering cans. And it runs along the back side of the rabbit cages. Let me show you, baby. So as you can see along the back of the cages, there's some watering nipples here, and then this pipe runs, if you can see, the whole length of the cage system, and then it loops down and back across the back side of these cages and back into the trash cans. So the water comes up through here, around the top, and then back in through here. So it's a constant loop of water with a pump in there and a water heater to keep it from freezing. And the system has worked absolutely brilliantly since we set it up. All winter long, all the way up until that ridiculous cold snap that we had with negative 20-degree winds. It worked absolutely beautifully. There was no freezing of the nipples, no freezing of the lines, and everything was just perfect, and I couldn't have been happier with this system. We even had some nights before the cold snap where it got down to the teens, and the system still worked beautifully. No frozen nipples, no frozen lines, no frozen bucket, and so it just worked beautifully. But when we had that cold snap, we had a problem. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm back. My water bins were full and overflowing, so I had to go turn the hose off real quick. But anyway, so when we had that really cold snap come through where we had negative 20 and 30 winds, we had one side freeze up. So as you can see here, we have 2 separate watering systems, one for the right side and one for the left side. The left side did a fantastic job. The only problem that I had with this side, with the 20-degree or negative 20 and 30 weather, we did have some of the nipples freezing in the back. Hi, Eden. The nipples themselves were what froze as the water dripped out of them. But the actual water line itself, the piping that the water is pushed through, stayed functional. So the warm water from the reservoir was constantly being pushed through that pipe and prevented it from freezing. The right side, however, is where we had a problem. See, the way that we have our Rabbitry set up is going north to south. And all of our weather comes in from the west. So all of the wind that we had during that cold spell just whipped up against this side of the Rabbitry and caused this pipe, I don't know if you can see it, this pipe here, it goes all the way through, is what froze up. And hi, Miss Penny, this section here was the culprit. So all of our Rabbitry walls are insulated with insulation panels, and I think this would have worked well, except we didn't have this pipe here insulated at all. So it was completely open and exposed to all of that nasty cold wind and weather that we had. And so this whole section of piping froze, and as it continued to freeze, there was no movement in this line. So the warm water couldn't keep the pipe from freezing, and so the frozen water just kept going and going and going and going, and eventually we had a massive break here and a massive break between these two cages. And when the cold snap finally left us and everything thawed out, my bunnies had a shower. The water was just everywhere, guys. I probably should have recorded it for you, but I had family over and we really just needed to get it fixed, and so I didn't record it for you guys. But I'm telling you now, we did end up having to replace some of that piping. We did better insulate Miss Penny's section of piping. We just did some piping insulation and wrapped it with electrical tape to secure it and insulate it further. And hopefully we won't have that cold of a spell ever again. That has been the coldest I've ever experienced it here in Pennsylvania. So hopefully we won't have that problem again. So honestly, the only reason that this system failed was because we didn't insulate that section of pipe like it should have been for that cold of weather. Because like I said, this other side, this left-hand side did beautifully, just the nipples froze. So we did have to use bowls of water. But as soon as the weather broke, those nipples thawed out very quickly. And it was back in operational use within a day or two. But we did have to do some major repairs to the right-hand side of the Rabbitry to get it back up and operational. Since we fixed it, everything has been working like it was before, and I'm very, very happy with this system. Right now we have loads of babies in here. I have, let's see, 6, 9, 10, I have 11 babies that are ready to go to new homes. Sorry, 12 babies that are ready to go to new homes, and then 4 with Miss Primrose here that'll be ready in a couple weeks. So I have quite a lot of babies, so we're going through a lot of water, a lot of feed right now. But overall, these waterers last 2 to 3 days. With the babies in here, probably 4 or 5 days with just the adults. And so it's really just a time-saving system for us here on our homestead. And it's something that I'm very, very pleased with, especially how it held up during this cold snap. It definitely got a test, and I'm happy with how it performed even during those extremely cold days. So if you're looking for a watering system for your rabbits that holds up against the nasty weather, I highly recommend this system, but insulate it better than we did, because that's where we messed up. Outside of that, I've had, like I said, no problems with this system. It's worked really well. The only other, not really problem, but it causes a lot of waste of water, is we put the nipples really low in the cages so that babies could reach them. But my adult bunnies like to lay up against the nipples and just drain the water. So sometimes I find that I fill my water bucket and within a day or two it's completely empty because my rabbits have just laid up against the nipples and caused it to just drain the tub of water, which isn't exactly beneficial. But again, I put the nipples lower to make sure that small babies could reach, and I might just have to lift it up a little bit to prevent that waste. So come warmer weather, we might go ahead and try to lift everything up just a little bit so that we're not having, they're doing it right now, so we're not having that waste of water in our rabbitry. But like I said, outside of those two things, our poor insulation job on the one side of the rabbitry and the nipples just being a little bit too low, I highly recommend this system. It has worked wonderful for us, and I'm really glad that we took the time to get it installed on our rabbitry last year. So if you guys have any questions about how we set this up, what products we used, where we found them, like I said, I did link, and I'll link it again right here, the system and how we built it. That has all of the links for all of the products that we used for it. And that way you guys can find them if you want to use them for yourselves as well. See if there's anything else. I think that's it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about the system, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'm happy to help you guys out and get those answered for you. And yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for watching, and remember to grow with your plants.